everyone, and welcome to the ELLE Beauty Weekender presented by Tata CLiQ. I'm Sonakshi Sharma, ELLE's beauty writer, and today we are in conversation with the lovely Luke Coutinho, who is a holistic lifestyle coach. Hi, Luke. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Sonakshi. Thank you for having me.
How's your day going?
It's amazing. We have great weather, had some sunshine, some rain. It's a fab day. What about you? How's your day going for you?
Lovely. We've just been prepping for this session, and we're very excited to have you at the ELLE Beauty Weekender, and we're hoping to learn a lot from you about holistic wellness and well-being. So should we just jump right in?
Let's do that.
Lovely. All right. So my first question, Luke, to you would be, how would you define holistic well-being? Because it's a broad term and it's talked about essentially everywhere. But then is there something that you could give as an expert input? There's something that people don't know and like the true meaning of the term.
So I'll simplify it. Holistic wellness is when you look at the body as a whole. You don't just look at diabetes as sugar levels. You don't just look at heart disease as the heart. It's the body and the mind. They're both interconnected. So whatever problem you may have, or if you're looking at the prevention of disease, or something as simple as the quality of your hair, the quality of your skin, you're looking at beauty. You got to look at it holistically, not just what goes on you from outside, but what's also happening on the inside. So if I'm looking at improving my gut, I'm going to have better skin. If I want better hair, it's not just about the shampoos that I use. That's great too, but it's what I feed myself. So when we talk about the word holistic, it's a 360-degree view of the human body and the human mind together. You put it together, and that's how you look at prevention and recovery of diseases.
Right. So you have just mentioned that it's about what you feed to yourself as well as what's on the outside. So it's like an amalgamation, right? So then, extensively people have spoken about the gut and, the body relationship and the acne and everything that comes from if you have a bad gut in terms of beauty and coming into, skincare problems. So then would you say that the gut and body relationship is sort of bigger than it's made out to be, and people should focus more on that?
Absolutely. People don't understand that the gut and the brain, they're connected. There's an axis that connects. It's called the gut-brain axis. So whatever's happening on the outside is regulated on the inside. So like, let's take an example. A lot of men and women wake up with puffy skin. Okay. And they're like, what do I do? Again, regulation of the gut, unless of course it's a severe kidney issue. It's regulation of your hormones. If you're sleep deprived, it shows on your face the next day. If you're sleep deprived, you tend to, crave more of the carbohydrates and sugars because you're sleep deprived. So the gut regulates everything. In fact, it's called the second brain, the enteric nervous system. That also has a link with depression, because everyone thinks depression is only in the head. But it starts off in the gut, because the hormones involved in depression are regulated again by the gut. So there's a massive connection. And if you look in India, 1 in 2 or 3 people have gut issues. Symptoms like acidity, bloating, constipation, IBS, colitis. These are all signs. You don't have to get worried, but you got to listen, and your body's trying to tell you, hey, take it easy. Something's wrong with my gut. Fix it. And you fix that, and everything else starts to get better.
Right. So you've just spoken about depression. I think that's such a key point. I don't want to, give this as a cause-effect relationship, because I think that's too done and we can't be reductive in that sense. But would you then say that stress and emotion affect our body way more than we make it out to be?
Absolutely. It's everything. In fact, today people talk more about nutrition. Nutrition is very hyped up. It's important, but it's hyped up. Exercise, important, but it's hyped up. It's your emotional wellness. Everything starts off in the mind. Everything, and manifests to the physical body. Today, science is showing us that every possible disease is also connected with the emotional level of a person. So, if there was a paradigm, I would put emotional wellness at the top. It's impossible for the physical body to get better or to prevent the onset of disease when the mind isn't happy, when the mind is constantly battling with stress. So stress regulates hormones again. It regulates your hormones. So if there's too much of stress, you're regulating hormones that can turn on or turn off a gene that can lead to a condition in your body. So stress really is a huge thing, but most people don't want to face it because they're like, everyone has stress. Yes, everyone does, but what are you doing about it is the question. So people try to put, people try to put band-aids, like they try to improve. You can have the best nutrition, you can have the best exercise, but if your stress levels are chronic, see, a little bit of day-to-day stress, that's good for us. I'm talking about chronic emotional stress, negativity, resentment, guilt, anger, envy. We all have all of this, but when it's persisting day in, day out, not allowing you to sleep, making your self-esteem drop, that is the stress which is dangerous for you. And we need to look at it.
So then would you say that consistency sort of makes it worse? That if you have consistent stress, then that's not the right way to live your life, and that does not account as to holistic well-being.
Yeah, that's an indicator. See, everything is a symptom is never a bad thing. A symptom is
Yeah.
like a warning. And if you take heed to warning and you do something about it, great. But if you don't do anything about it and you keep pushing down the symptom, okay, I'll just wait for that next holiday. I'll just wait for when I get, rich, or when my body is great, then I'll start trying to be happy. No, it won't work for you. It'll actually create, an obstacle towards all of your goals as well as your health.
Hmm. So then how would you say that we've achieved a state of wellness, or that I'm well? So as an individual, when would you say that, is there a state, in fact, that where you reach there and you know, okay, you know what, I'm well now? Is there such a thing?
It's a continuous journey. We can feel well for instances in a day, and then something
Yeah,
happens that pulls us right off. So the human
exactly.
body is constantly working to try to keep us alive. It's
Yeah.
always working for you, no matter what we're doing, no matter how much we're, putting against the body. It's always working on the principle of survival. So I think wellness, the beauty of wellness is when we're able to be happy, even though there are ups and downs in our life, even though there
Hmm.
are struggles, but we're able to focus on the things that are going well. Because anyone who's trying to
Yeah.
wait for that perfect life where you'll have only peace and joy and a great body, it's impossible. It's never going to happen. So we got to learn how to accept the good, the bad, ups and downs. That's one state of wellness. Two is when our medical parameters are good, or we may
Yeah.
have some condition, but it's under
Mhm.
control. It's under
Right.
control. We're not on a laundry list of medication and moving on from one new medicine to another. The third is when we can wake up feeling energetic and not fatigued, and we don't need cups and cups of caffeine to get us through the day. That's when we can say we've
I
achieved
would
wellness as
disagree
well.
with you. I need lots and lots of caffeine to get through the day. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So that means we're fatigued, right? Coffee is great. I
Yeah.
love 2 cups a day because I love the taste. It feels good. But if I'm
Yeah.
using caffeine as a source of energy, that clearly means that we're fatigued at a cellular level. And your body's
Right.
trying to tell you to rest more, take it easy, kind of eat better foods. So those are indicators again.
Okay, so you just said that then that's an indicator. So then would you say that practicing self-care is sort of a path towards wellness or holistic well-being?
It's everything. Because if you, when I say you, we self-care is great. I like to call it you care because I put that responsibility onto you to look after
Yeah.
yourself. See, without you care, nothing can work. A lot
Hmm.
of people pretend that they care about everyone, but they don't care about themselves. You can't care about someone if you don't care about you. You can't love someone else if you don't love yourself. You can't respect someone else if you don't respect yourself. So then these
Hmm.
become all pretentious acts in society and stuff. It comes down to how can I care for me? And because I nourish myself with care, now I can actually go and care for my partner, my children, and other people. So you care is extremely important for success. Otherwise, people appear to have success, but inside they're depressed, they're empty, nothing seems to work for them. So I think
Yeah.
it all starts with you, and self-care, you care is extremely important for overall wellness.
Right. So you're saying that, I completely agree with the point where most of us are we've conformed to what society wants us to do.
Yeah.
That set pattern of life that, you're going to do this one after the other, be it, moving from education to getting married to, having children and all of that. But then it's also about what you want personally. And like you said, if you can't make yourself happy, then you can't, make anyone else around you happy. So I think that's such an important part that even if you want to conform to those things, it should be your decision. It should be your choice. As long as you're making it and you're moving towards a part, on a path that is making you holistically feel better and you're practicing some self-care routine or self-care ritual, then that would help you, get towards that state of wellness. So then I want to ask you, how would we overlap beauty and wellness in that sense? Because
So, yeah.
beauty in terms of like just like a self-care routine, or just practicing something like you said, a you care thing. So then
Yeah.
that would be taking out time for yourself, doing something that makes you happy, and stopping when your body is telling you that, what, enough, I'm fatigued, that's about it. So then how would you say that they overlap together?
So I think beauty is everyone's birthright, and the definition is also different for everyone. Some people
Yes.
equate beauty with just the physical looks, but I always give an example. You can go into a party and you see
Yeah.
some of the hottest. I don't mean it in a derogatory way. The hottest men
Mhm.
and women, okay, and but they have arrogance on their face, ego and pride. They don't smile, and no matter how good they look physically, people don't get that good vibe. They don't want to be around them. And then you see someone who may not look so good. Maybe they're pleasantly plump and they have acne on the face, but they have this beautiful smile on their face. They create this energy around them, and people want to be with them. People want to
Yeah.
be with them all the time, around them. So, again, beauty is also an energy that we let out. And there's, of course, the Instagram beauty, which everyone kind of looks at, I think beauty is inside out, and we build it by what we feed ourselves, how much of sleep we give our bodies, and even that smile. I think that smile can light up anything. I'm not against beauty from outside as well. Things like makeup, all of
Yeah.
that, it's beautiful. But as long as the person using it, it doesn't become their new identity. Because we have young girls and women who come to us and say, look, I hate myself when I don't have my makeup on. When I look in the mirror without my makeup, my self-esteem and confidence is at the lowest. Now that's dangerous, because then every time you don't have your makeup on, your self-esteem goes down. You don't love yourself, which means you're dependent on something external to increase your self-esteem. So there's a fine line between real beauty and everything that happens in the world. And I think when people put it together, okay, that is what success is. That I can feel good about myself, whether I have makeup on or whether I don't. Everyone wants to look good. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing vain in that. Unless it only becomes that I feel like a superwoman or a superman when I'm, when I have something on me. So we got to be careful of that. I think beauty also comes with kindness. There are so many people who are so just genuinely kind, and you don't even look at their physical self. It's just that you see so much of beauty in them. So I think beauty and wellness is everything together. It's not just how we look. It's everything together.
So I just want to ask you, picking up on a point that you mentioned, you said that people, women, or any kind of people, they're coming to you and they're saying that, we don't feel good without these certain things, be it, having makeup or doing all of that. But then in terms of Instagram, because we know that social media is a massive influence in everything that we're doing today, do you think that's kind of dangerous then? Because Instagram is all the time, it's telling you that this is the idea of beauty, and obviously people have their own understandings, but in the actuality and the reality of it, most of us, and I believe even me at times, we're looking at Instagram and we're comparing ourselves to these unnecessary standards. And in terms of well-being, everyone's always happy on Instagram. I don't know about you, but as far as I've seen it, everyone is happy all the time. So I think that kind of feeds into this, this dangerous notion that you have to be happy all the time. And you can't feel these emotions. But then doesn't that also count into holistic well-being, that you should know and accept that when on days when you're not feeling your best self, or you don't want to go out and make an effort, sometimes you just want to take it easy for a day. So you think that social media kind of plays an important role in well-being then?
Absolutely. It can be extremely destructive. And I think the rate of depression today and unhappiness is mainly because of social media. Now, it's not a bad thing. It's the person behind social media. If you have linked your self-esteem, okay, with what you see on social media, it's going to be at the lowest. If you have a mind that compares yourself, you can feel inadequate. Let me give you an example of a young girl or boy who wakes up in the morning, looks in the mirror and says, I look awesome, I feel great. And then they spend 5 minutes on social media and they see 5 people who look better than them, have better skin, and all of a sudden they feel inadequate. Now that means that your mind, okay, your self-esteem is so low that comparison, and Instagram makes you, the human mind is such, you have to really be enlightened not to allow Instagram or social media to, keep you on that path. So it is dangerous, absolutely. And you are right. It's a psychological issue that people only want to show their happiest times on Instagram because they're so low that they only want to put the best part of their life on Instagram, because every like makes their self-esteem boost up a little more. But the moment they're not on Instagram, they're back to their low selves. So we have to be very careful of this. And the message that comes out has to be fair to everyone. And I tell a lot of people, if you can't handle social media, be off it. Otherwise, it's going to destroy you. At the same time, it can be constructive.
That's when, right, sorry to interrupt you, but I think that's when digital detox is coming, right? Because for most of us who actually want to be on it, but just don't want to deal with this kind of self-criticism all the time, or on days when you don't feel your best self, you just want to take a detox and be like, not today, just not happening. No Instagram, no social media, no unnecessary comparisons, and just take a day for yourself.
No, you're right. See, a digital detox again is just a band-aid approach. Okay, but if you're mindful, you know who you are, you know what your self-esteem is. Nothing on Instagram can ever phase you out. Nothing. So then you don't have to do a detox. Of course, we should reduce our time on social media, but you know that someone else's life, okay, that's great. Today, there's always going to be. So I always tell people who are on social media, remember, before getting on social media, there is always going to be someone richer than you, more prettier than you, more handsome than you, with better hair. And if you're okay with that, then go on social media. If not, your entire life is going to be just a game of trying to get better than someone else. And that's what makes us miserable.
Right. So in terms of, we can't not talk about the elephant in the room. The lockdowns, they've literally just pushed us all indoors, and we're all the time just working continuously, and the havoc that this has caused on our working schedules, especially most of us that are working from home all the times. I mean, we have the luxury. There are people who are still essential workers and are going out and making a difference. But for most of us who are wreaking havoc, we are just not getting enough time. Do you have any tips or tricks, or to help people who are watching to just tune down their kind of workload and work life balance in that sense? Because so much is happening consciously, be it this doom cycle of scrolling through stuff or working continuously, or if like me, you're all the time working with media, you're constantly consuming so much stuff. So do you have any tips or tricks that you could give us that would help people understand that what, it's okay, you can just deal with it in a constructive manner?
So I think the best thing is it's a physical activity that we have to do every day. Make a timetable, go back to school. When you plan your day, like if I have planned 1 hour for my workout, 7 hours for sleep, I'm left with 16 hours in a day. Now, out of that, how much time for my loved ones and my family? How much of work time does that leave me with? And plan it. If you don't plan it, it's very easy when you're working from home to take advantage of the time that you would have actually saved from travel when you were going to work and stuff. So if you have no planning and organization, the day is going to get the better of you. It all comes down to planning and organizing. You can fit everything that you want in your day. We deal with billionaires in the world, the most busiest people. But yet when we sit down with them and plan their day, they're left with 4 to 5 hours that they're like, wow, I didn't know I have this time free. And now you can use that time for so many other things. If not, then there's an expectation from people that, hey, you're at home, big deal, just finish this project. But you got to have your boundaries in line. You got to plan your time. Otherwise, what's going to happen is social media and, gadgets are they're designed for us to be on it for a longer time.
Yep.
That's why it's so interesting, because of the dopamine. So we also have to use something called self-restraint. That if I plan 15 minutes for Instagram right now, I'm going to get off in 15 minutes. If you go on without a plan, that 15 minutes is going to become 2 hours. So it honestly comes down to planning again, organizing, a little bit of self-restraint and a little bit of discipline. And you can have the best of everything. A little bit of social media, a little bit of your work, and whatever it takes to make you happy at the end of the day.
Yeah. I think that's such good advice, because especially for someone like us, and I'm sure people who are working in the media consciously, especially even all other, people who are just working from home in corporate or whatever, just making an effort to do some physical exercises, or, just getting out of the rut of your routine and taking some time at the end of the day to, speak to your family members and do something constructive in that time, which is not just, about work, would really, I feel, benefit people in terms of holistically getting a better work-life balance. Because like you said, that in terms of what you're putting inside your body and putting on it, they are, I would say, equally important. I know you would say that holistic well-being comes on top, but I would say they're sort of equally important. And I feel like a balance in life is kind of key towards however we want to, make the best of our day, or however we want to make the best of our life. Those are the conscious choices that we make every day, to try to understand that, okay, this is where I am today and this is where I need to go. Like you said, it's a journey.
Right. Absolutely. And I would add in meditation over there. The busier you are, like we handle the top journalists across the country. Okay, they're extremely busy. I know their schedule. I can't tell them that, do this at this time, because their schedule changes. But then all the more need to connect within that 30 minutes, 20 minutes of meditation. So it grounds you. And then you go out into your day. So the day is busy, but it doesn't control you. You're still in control. You can have 100 things in front of you, but you know very calmly where you give your attention, where you give, without getting pulled into chaos. So I think mindfulness is extremely important for people in the media, for everyone, because from mindfulness, we operate with more clarity, no matter how busy our day is.
No, I completely agree with you. I mean, even people who are not working at home, or even students, anybody in that matter, for holistic well-being, I think it's essential that you, like you said, plan your day, give priority and attention to stuff that is important to you. And then hopefully you're not going to be as fatigued and as tired at the end of the day. And you're going to be moving towards a better balance in your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that brings us to the end of our session, Luke. Thank you so much. It was lovely speaking to you. I had so much to learn from you, and I hope everyone watching also did. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Sonakshi. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.